in this world, there are many different kinds of people who enjoy different things. There are people who enjoy anime, and we would call them weebs, right? There are people that enjoy Star Trek, that are big fans of Star Trek. There are people that enjoy fishing. There are people that enjoy video games, playing video games. There are people that are movie buffs. There are people that are food lovers. There are people that enjoy traveling. There are people that enjoy waterboarding or dancing in the rain. But I feel like in today's generation, people just love to judge. You know, it's so easy to judge people, right? You call those people that love anime weebs and losers or lowlives, that they have no life, you know, that they're not successful. Or you would call people who are Star Trek fans geeks or losers or ugly, people who are fat, who don't work out or anything like that. But that is such a judgmental thing to say, and that's such a mean thing to say, because those people have found happiness in their lives. Those people are happy with their lives, bro. They found something that they love, that gives them joy, that brings them happiness. And who's to say that those people are not successful? Maybe those people are millionaires. Maybe those people are actually fit, you know? But then we're generalizing everyone who is in that category. Oh, all people who play video games are losers, who don't know how to socialize with people, who haven't grown up, who are childish, who are immature. Such a judgmental and generalized thing to say to someone. Because I love video games, yet I'm strong, I still work out, I go to the gym consistently. And I love video games because I love the storyline. I love the connection that you have with people when you play with them. You know, you can have friends come over and you play together. I love how you can achieve objectives. There's side quests and main quests. I love the graphics, the attention to detail, the attachment to character, you know, the character-driven stories. I love everything about that. I also love anime. I love the storylines of anime. I love how you can get connected to the different characters. I love how the characters have such a deep story and how they're interrelated with each other, and the problems that they face with, which people that we watch can relate to. Anime is not childish. A lot of anime is adult themed, has adult content, right? And you know, it can get pretty violent as well. But what I'm trying to say is that there are people who have all of these like hobbies and stuff, right? And the people who don't really have hobbies or don't really delve into these certain topics, they just love to judge other people, right? That are doing something that's kind of like outside the social norm of what being successful or what the generalized standards are. You know, people have this idea that whatever hobby that you're doing, it should be to make you grow. It should be to make you smarter. It should be to make you more money. That's not always the case. It doesn't always have to be the case. A hobby is just something that you enjoy doing. It's just something fun. It doesn't have to make you money. It doesn't have to, level you up. You know, hobbies can just be a way for someone to just escape the realities of life, right? That just makes them happy. And what's wrong with that? They're not harming anyone else. As long as they're not harming anyone, what's wrong with somebody enjoying the things that they like, right? And there are some people who would say that the people who have hobbies for things that are, you know, very, very deep, right? People who are very deep into certain hobbies, right? Or certain interests would be considered autistic. And who cares? What are you trying to say? That autistic people are a lot less smarter than people who are not? That doesn't make any sense. Autistic people are also very highly intelligent as well, right? So that's what I mean. Is people are just so quick to judge, you know, when they don't know, when they're just ignorant about certain topics. You know, I had my dad, right? You know, he has never ever watched anime in his life, and only until recently, where I introduced him to Death Note, if you know what Death Note is, and Attack on Titan, and he thought it was really interesting. So now every time I see him in the living room, he's flipping through like animes and watching animes because he thinks it's very interesting. But at first he was like, he didn't really like the design of the characters. He thought it was very sharp and really strange. But then once he gradually, started piquing an interest into anime because he likes the story. And he realized that it's kind of like there's adult themed content into it, that the story is extremely complicated and deep. And yeah, it's really crazy. And I know people who are obsessed with like history. I know people who are very obsessed with history, and there are people around him that think he's really weird and strange. But being weird and strange doesn't necessarily mean that you're less than anyone else. You know, I find that people who are weird and strange are happy. That's what I think. I think people who are weird and strange, who have weird interests, people who are into bugs, people who are into like learning about, I don't know, different kinds of bark, people who like to collect bark from trees. I'm just giving you an example. I think those people are strange, but they're also very interesting, you know? And they're also, I believe that they're very happy because they found joy. What's wrong with finding joy in your life? You know? Joy can come from anything. Joy can come from so many different things. But yeah, that's essentially what I wanted to say is that, we need to stop judging people who have like different hobbies that are not outside of the social norm, you know? There's nothing wrong with that. We're liking different things, you know?